Hi, I'm Cindy Bertram. Thanks for joining me today on Good Ship Happens. Well, you know what? I know that a lot of schools are going to be ending their school year coming up in a couple weeks. And what they did is we actually had National Teachers Day too that came up this week, which is great because once again, teachers work so hard, don't they? Having been a former teacher myself too a long time ago, but I taught high school, taught public speaking and English. That's where I learned how to write too, because I can actually correct things, grammar, whatever. But the thing is, teachers work so hard. It's good to recognize them. They work so hard, okay? And one thing that a great cruise line, of course, they're all great, but anyway, one cruise line does this every year. Norwegian Cruise Line. What they do is they give teachers a year-round discount, and they just launched their fifth Giving Joy campaign. So this is the fifth year they've done their Giving Joy campaign. And this new teacher cruise discount offers educators and staff across the United States and Canada a 5% discount on any cruise in the world and a $50 onboard credit, which is great. Okay, but something else they do too is this is available to professionals in education pre-K through 12th grade, including classroom teachers, principals, assistant principals, school employees, and college university professors too. The educators have to have a validated ID, of course, but once again, you can find out more information. Go to the website. It's called www.ncl.com/teachers. Also, and they've been doing this is the fifth year they've done it, really touches my heart so much. The fifth annual Norwegians Giving Joy campaign will award 20 teachers a free vacation aboard the 2025 Norwegian Aqua. That's going to be their newest ship. And the campaign is now open until June 7th. And nominations of teachers making a difference in their classroom and communities will be accepted. You have to go to a different website, www.nclgivingjoy.com. But how wonderful. And once again, the 20 U.S. and Canadian educators who receive the most votes will be offered to attend a special inclusive two-night inaugural event in Boston, April 4th to 6th in 2025, aboard the Norwegian Aqua, as this ship makes her U.S. debut. And the top 5 grand prize winners will also have the opportunity to attend Norwegian Aqua's christening celebration, followed by a 3-night inaugural cruise from Miami, April 13th through the 16th of 2025. And since 2019, Norwegian's Giving Joy campaign has received nearly 60,000 teacher nominations, more than 1.8 million votes, awarded over 250 educators with a free cruise, and made donations upwards of over 445,000 to teachers and their schools as they support NCL's partners too, which is great too. So once again, it's a great way to really celebrate teachers. They work so hard, and once again, I love this because once again, it's their 5th annual Teachers Giving Joy campaign too, and also, in addition to this annual thing they've been doing for 5 years, of course, teachers get a cruise discount too. So check that out, or maybe share it with somebody if you know a good teacher too. Okay, definitely do that too. So I just want to share that first because that's just so phenomenal. Okay, as far as other things we're going to is we've got a lot of ships coming out this year, next year too. And one that's coming out this year is Royal Caribbean's Utopia of the Seas. Right now, she's going through her sea test right now, and she's almost ready for her debut. And she's there an Oasis class ship, and she's going to be going to the ocean sea for a while just to test it out. Of course, too, that's what they do. And then they've got more than 900 experts, specialists have really helped them too. And once again, as the ship moves through open waters, and they do their operation of the navigation systems, engines, and also different technology tests, etc. too. And then starting on July 19th, the Utopia of the Sea is going to welcome vacationers, okay, with more memories. And it's the first Oasis class ship that's going to debut with 3-night weekend and 4-night weekday cruises. Okay, So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, they've got different things that they offer. Utopia will include their Perfect Day Coco Cay. That's their private island in the Bahamas, of course, but it's an award-winning experience too. With the Perfect Day Coco Cay, it's got they've got different. They've got 14 different water slides. They've got the largest freshwater pool in the Caribbean and the Bahamas too, which is great. And they got their newly opened adults only area too, Hideaway Beach. It features a private beach, pools, and spots for drinks and bites too, which is great too. And so once again, just keep that in mind too, because with Utopia of the Seas, she will be start sailing on July 19th this year on 3 and 4-night cruises. And she's going to actually be debuting in Port Canaveral, which is about an hour away from Orlando. So another great reason to go to Orlando, because once again, it's about an hour away from Port Canaveral. But once again, it's a great way to really kind of go down to Orlando first and then take Utopia of the Seas coming up on July 19th. So keep that in mind too. That was really exciting too. Something else too is I know that Crystal Cruises, which has been around for a long time, and then they had gotten bought up by Genting Group, which went under, unfortunately. But then A&K, Abercrombie Kids parent company, actually bought them, and they actually renovated their 2 ships, the Crystal Serenity, another ship. What they're doing right now is they're actually building new ocean and expedition ships. So that's really exciting too, because I actually had a chance to sail on Crystal Cruises myself back in 2016. It was amazing. I mean, just amazing. And once again, the ship I was on, the Serenity, they did some refurbishment on her too, plus their other ship. But once again, Crystal is actually building some new ocean and expedition ships. I'll be sharing more about that later too, so that's really great too. And something else that just came up too is, Alaska season is on right now. I want to go back there sometime. Alaska's an amazing place to go to. Life change for me. Beautiful spots, beautiful places. But what happened is they actually have a new ship port too. And they just did the celebration. It's Alaska's Port Klawak. Hope I pronounced it correctly. But they just celebrated the inaugural cruise ship arrival. And it's Alaska's new cruise port. And they christened it on May 7th, which was this week. And they celebrated the arrival of their first cruise ship, which is Seabourn Odyssey, and a special ribbon cutting ceremony. So you think about ribbon cutting ceremonies, and usually you have a godmother or godfather christen the ship, but in this case, they did the christening because the Seabourn Odyssey is the first ship that is actually sailing there, and they did that ribbon cutting event on May 7th this week, and this port is actually located near the village of Klawak on the Pacific side of Prince of Wales Island. And it's the most updated initiative, a pre-venture that's being done by the Alaska Native Corporation, Huna Totem and Donan Limited, and also the Klawak Hiya. It's a native village corporation in Klawak. And the development will actually will provide more flexibility as far as Alaska's cruise, market too, which is great too, because once again, Alaska's beautiful. You get to go beautiful places too, but this is a new port that they just opened up for cruise ships to go to too, which is great. And this port is actually committed to really providing a really authentic Alaskan experience to all the travelers. And they arrive at this exclusive single ship port. So there's only one ship that can actually port there at a time, which is great. And the port features a floating tender dock with welcome facilities, light retail options, which will feature Alaskan native arts and crafts, also shore excursions, dispatch. And then also, when sailing to Klawak, hope I pronounced it correctly, the cruise ships will navigate into 2 different fjords entrances as they approach the port, where guests can enjoy some beautiful views, scenic views of the jagged mountains, and of course the lush landscapes too. And once again, at the port itself, guests can actually enjoy a selection of different shore excursions with local guides, which is great. shuttle to Klawock and Craig, operated by Alaskan Coach Tours, which is a subsidiary of Nadina, which is great too. And also, what's fun too is they're really bringing the Prince of Wales vast road system to other communities too, which is great too, and different tour options around the island, which is great. And they're into some different excursions that you can do too. They've got the Wildlife Marine Tour, okay, and it's a guided tour on a purpose-built boat to explore local ecosystems and encounters with humpback whales, sea otters, and other marine wildlife too. They've got a shuttle to Craig and Klawock, which is complimentary shuttles that pay people to access to Klawock and also Craig, which offers additional shopping and cultural experiences too. And then they've got this Klawock Highlights Tour. This tour includes key highlight sites, including the Klawock River Trail, also the renowned, it's pronounced the Carving Shed, and also the Klawock Totem Pole, which sounds fantastic. If you've ever seen totem poles, they are absolutely magnificent. I love them. Got a chance to see several when I was in Alaska myself too. And once again, as mentioned, another one is this, let's see, the River Hatchery and the Lake Kawak Adventure. People can explore the Klawock River Hatchery and also paddle through the Klawock Lake, learning about local wildlife and also the importance of fish to the local population too. And as mentioned, they just opened that up, christened it this past week, of course, on May 7th, which is great. And it's just a great experience too to think about too. If you're going to Alaska, another option as far as another cruise port to go to too, which is great. I think that's wonderful too. And something else that it goes back to, as mentioned, it goes back to different things too. As far as totem poles, okay, one is the Huna totem pole. Totem is growing with the presence of different ports this year too. And they talked about the Huna Totem Corporation is owned by nearly 1,500 share owners with Native Alaskan ancestry. It's invested millions of dollars over the years to its privately owned ship destination, Icy Strait Point too. That just came up when I was doing some research this week too, which is great. And as far as the Alaska season too, with Icy Strait Point, they mention that they're really excited because once again, they're continuing to really develop and expand their offerings across Alaska. They've been celebrating 20 years at Icy Strait Point, and they've come a long way, but it's also a great milestone too. And once again, what visitors can expect, they mentioned in the future too, which is great, is, as mentioned, they've really transformed Icy Strait Point from a small tender port into a fully integrated destination that balances large guest capacity with sustainability too, which is great. And they've invested heavily not only in expanding their physical infrastructure, like adding 2 docks for ships to dock at, but also enhancing the quality and diversity with their culture and their recreational offerings too, which is great. But once again, they are also committed to sustainability and authentic experiences too, for further elevating the Alaska travel experience while also supporting the local community too. And they mentioned about Whittier and Klawock, which I talked about Klawock too, but also Whittier is actually expanding its tour and retail options too, and promising cruise guests and new options, enriching experiences this season too. And it's definitely a must visit destination, of course, in Alaska too. And what they did was, some recent developments mentioned too was the rail siding of the direct access to the Alaskan Railroad at the terminal, and some expansions too. And also, like I said, the ports really provide travelers with different experiences too, which is great too, and cultural stories. So once again, definitely think about this as far as Alaska, because it's a beautiful place to go to. You can see the glaciers Calf, which is wonderful. The oceans are beautiful, and it's just such a great experience to really enjoy this part of the world too. Beautiful. I'm so glad I went there a long time ago. I want to go back too, because once again, the first night that I sailed out on my Alaskan cruise, I saw whales the first night, which is great. And I did the White Pass Rail, which is big. It was a railroad train that took us up. It took them 100 years to build that train up. They're gorgeous, beautiful views, and just different places to go to too. Skyway was gorgeous too, and just really some beautiful, fun things to explore too when you're thinking about taking an Alaskan cruise. But definitely keep these in mind too, okay? And once again, when it comes to the cruise industry, okay, I was at Seatrade Cruise Global Conference a couple weeks ago, and then we went back to attend the Cruise Lines International Association Conference myself too. That was on April 17th and 19th. And at that conference, CLIA, which sponsors that Cruise 360 conference, which was at, Kelly Craighead, the president, just mentioned how at Cruise 360 that the industry's fleet is just growing like crazy at a really robust pace too. Of course, and also, so it's, the industry really recovered. There's so much growth, new ships coming out, builds excitement, but once again, too, the focus on sustainability is something that cruise lines are really working on so hard, and they're doing such a great job at too. Their plan is to be net zero emissions by 2050, and some cruise ships are already at that. So they're moving with that too. Also, what's fun too is, of course, Cunard Line's new ship, the Queen Anne, just entered service. Yes, the Queen Anne, that's Cunard Line, and it's their first new ship in, I think, 14 years maybe, and she just sailed from Southampton, and yeah, it's Cunard's fourth ship in the fleet, and she looks beautiful. I wasn't on board, but I have some friends who are actually on board, and they share pictures. It just looks so gorgeous, and they've really done a great job too. Also, as far as some things too is Sea Dream Yacht Club, they've unveiled some new Caribbean sailings for fall of 2026, and also Seabourn just announced they've got some new activities and features on their 22-day farewell voyage of their Seabourn Odyssey. This luxury ship is going to be departing from Seattle on September 2nd this year to Yokohama, Japan, and it's just going to be, I think, sold off to somebody else. But once again, too, is we've got a new partnership, too. As Cruise Lines partner different companies, and they just mentioned, of course, too, that two Royal Caribbean group brands, Royal Caribbean International and Celebrity Cruises, they just announced and put together a new partnership with Hard Rock International and Seminola Gaming, too. And that's really great too, because once again, they have some good partnerships going on too. And just some fun things that they're doing too. And I know that, as mentioned, the Norwegian Cruise Line did float out the Norwegian Aqua ship coming out, I believe, next year. And that's the one they're going to have that, the special christening next year, and have the teachers on board too that are part of that winning competition too. Something about Port Canaveral just came up too, is today, yesterday they mentioned it too, is Port Canaveral is actually building another cruise terminal. And as mentioned before, when you think about cruising in the Caribbean, you can sail out of Miami, of course, Fort Lauderdale, which is Port Everglades, also Tampa, and of course we've seen a lot of growth when it comes to Galveston, Texas. And another one, of course, is with Port Canaveral, and what they did was they are building another cruise terminal. It's actually, people aren't aware of it, but it's actually the second busiest cruise port in the world. Yes, the second busiest cruise terminal in the world. That's fantastic. They're building a new terminal and a parking garage to meet growing demand, especially from the world's largest cruise ships too. They plan to, this will be a multi-user terminal, and what they're going to do is they want to get this completed by summer of 2026. And they mentioned they got cruise partners with immediate needs to locate assets in Florida, and Port Canaveral is really where they want to be too. And the North 8th berth, which was built in 2018, will require an extension to accommodate larger cruise ships. So what they're doing is they're building a new terminal right there for the ships to dock at too. And there's really there's been a lot of demand for parking too, because once again, They have a new parking garage that will be able to accommodate up to, I think, 3,000 vehicles. And also the project will include roadway improvement entering and exiting the new facility, etc. too, and connecting to the site through State Road 401. And Port Canaveral right now was briefly crowned the busiest in the world, overtaking Port Miami in the fiscal year of 2022. I know that Miami did redeem that title last year, but once again, the Port Canaveral received a record milestone of actually 6.8 million passengers in the fiscal year of 2023. So once again, Port Canaveral is growing. They're building a new cruise terminal there, which is great too, but it's a beautiful place to do too. I actually had a chance to sail on Port Canaveral myself a couple times back in the 1990s, and as mentioned, it's about an hour or so away from the Orlando airport. And once again, with the growth there, I think it really gives people more of an opportunity to really experience other areas too. And it's close. They can still do the Caribbean cruises from Port Canaveral, of course, which is great. And if you want to tap onto maybe flying into Orlando maybe early and maybe doing one of the great parks like Walt Disney World, one example too. And just keep that in mind too, because once again, it's just a great, great option, because once again, it showcases how the cruise industry is really growing like crazy. And a lot of new ships coming out. It's hard to keep tabs on them. What's coming up, new ships being built right now, and another one coming up next year with Royal Caribbean is actually going to be their Star of the Seas. And I heard more about her when I was at the cruise conference, Cruise 360. And I also found out quietly from Michael Bailey, the president of Royal Caribbean International, that with Star of the Seas coming up next year, she's also going to have another chief dog officer on board the ship. He told me her name's going to be called Sailor. So I'll find to have Star of the Seas coming out next year, and her chief dog officer is going to be Sailor. She will also be a golden retriever, because they fit best into this type of role too. And right now, of course, on board their Icon of the Seas this year, which was christened earlier in January, they actually have their very first chief dog officer on board, Rover. Golden Retriever. I wrote about her. She's gorgeous, and she's not in the bridge driving the bridge because she's got paws, okay? But she's there in the bridge, but also is around the ship in different ways too, to really greet people and create smiles on people's faces too, which is great too. I mean, who wouldn't want to accidentally run across a beautiful dog like Rover on board a cruise ship? But that's really fun too, because once again, Star of the Seas will actually have their second chief dog officer in the cruise line on board Star of the Seas, and her name's going to be called Sailor. So that's really kind of great. You can remember her name just because it's Star of the Seas and Sailor. Well, the two S's go together, which is great too. So definitely keep that in mind too. Something else that came up too, really fun too, is Railbookers is a really fantastic company. They've been around for a while. I actually know the owners. They're great, but they've got some new itineraries in Italy next year. And they're doing a partnership with this luxury train service, La Dolce Vita Orient Express. And so with Railbookers, they're going to offer 5 different itineraries from this new luxury rail line beginning April 2025. And trips will include 1 or 2 nights on board with food and beverage service, and offering off-board excursions in a number of regions too. And like I said, take a look sometime. Look up Railbookers. They are a fantastic company. I got to know their president a long time ago, and his brother Jim, their brothers, is actually a VP of sales, but they're great people. It's another way to really, really explore the world in different ways too. And they're just so much fun to kind of follow too. Something else that came up too is with Virgin Cruises, of course. They've got their new ship, which was postponed a bit, the Brilliant Lady, and she finally has an intro date, and she's going to have some cruises from actually New York to Alaska. She's set to enter service next year in September 2025, and she's going to have some cruises from New York to Quebec and Bermuda, and then from Miami through the Panama Canal, and then from Los Angeles and from Seattle to Alaska. And they just announced this, okay? But their Brilliant Lady ship, which is great, and a bit more about that too. She had been originally scheduled to be arriving in fall 2023. They postponed it, but with the Brilliant Lady, she's going to really embark on a really fantastic North American tour, which includes a series of longer itineraries, up to 14 nights, which is new for the Virgin brand. And Virgin fans have been asking for a couple years now about considering sailing from other places like New York, Los Angeles, or Alaska. So it's wonderful to really, really give their sailors and mates, okay, they call their cruise guests sailors, yes, and mates, first mates, what they wanted. Some fresh itineraries that span North America from 5 to 14 nights. And the fourth and final ship in their fleet for now, the Brilliant Lady, will not disappoint. And what's good too is, and I'm just sharing more about the New York sailings. Following a premiere showcase for New Yorkers, of course, the Brilliant Lady is going to be sailing from Manhattan Cruise Terminal on 5 cruises ranging from 5 to 13 nights. Then Bermuda and Canada, New England on the charts, including the Quebec Island, Boston, Maine, Halifax, and New Brunswick. And then she'll also be sailing Miami, and that's going to be October of 2025 through April 2026. She's got 17 cruises from Port Miami that will compromise the winter Caribbean season for them too, of 7 to 12 night sailings, spanning from Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao in the Southern Caribbean, along with Cartagena to the Turks and Caicos, Antigua, Grand Cayman, Ocho Rios, Jamaica. And then what they're going to be doing is, as they're going down, of course, too, they'll be doing a Panama Canal, and this special Panama Canal cruise will be in March of 2026. This 12-night Panama Canal transit cruise from Miami to Los Angeles is set to depart on March 21st, 2026, with a Brilliant Lady calling on Colombia and the Panama before merging onto the Pacific to visit Costa Rica, Guatemala, and then Cabo San Lucas. Okay, and then she'll go through the Panama Canal. Then they mentioned from Los Angeles, April through May of 2026, beginning April 7th of 2026, the Brilliant Lady is going to be sailing on 4 cruises of 5 to 8 nights from Los Angeles, with ports at Baja California, Puerto Vallarta, San Diego, Santa Barbara, and also Catalina Island. And then, as far as Seattle, this will be coming up May through September 2026. In the summer 2026, this will actually usher in Virgin Voyage's very first Alaskan cruise. Yes, they've not sailed in Alaska, but in summer 2026, Virgin Voyage's Brilliant Lady is going to be actually ushering in their first Alaskan cruises from the port of Seattle, with more details to come. And with a high demand for Alaska, starting May 8th of 2024, travelers could actually submit a deposit right now if they want to get something booked, of course. And they have a deposit too. Once again, I really think it's a great way to really see Alaska. Plus, remember that with Virgin Voyages, of course, you have to be 18 years or older. No kids allowed, of course. But once again, also they've got we're calling it their summer season pass, okay? And following the success of this year's summer season pass, which sold out in less than 48 hours, I know that Virgin Voyages right now is introducing a Brilliant 4U pass with access to all the Brilliant Ladies maiden voyages seasons, and they are accompanied by one shore thing per voyage. Okay, so once again, it goes back to what Virgin Voyages is doing with the Brilliant Lady, and she'll be coming out, of course, after a delay, a couple of years. She's going to set service in September 2025, so definitely keep in mind, because that's just a phenomenal thing to consider, too, as far as cruising. Because Virgin Voyages, I got a chance to see their Scarlet Lady, their very first ship, a couple years ago, and she debuted in Miami. It was phenomenal. I mean, the beautiful areas they've got, the restaurants, they don't have the main dining rooms at all. Smaller restaurant, you pick and choose where you want to dine at. You make reservations in advance, but the entertainment was fantastic. The pool areas were beautiful, but just fantastic. And once again, just goes to another way of really taking a fantastic cruise and exploring different things. And like I said, everything's included too. It's great too. One fun place I loved so much was their special ice cream parlor and it was actually called Lick Me Till. Ice cream was homemade, beautiful. I mean, just so many flavors. I mean, I had to hold back from having too much Lick Me Till myself, but it was phenomenal. And another great experience, too, to think about, too. So definitely keep in mind, because like I said, Brilliant Lady sounds fantastic. I'm so glad she's coming out now next year in 2025 in September, and offering some different types of itineraries, too. And once again, with them, it's going to be the first year they're going to be sailing in Alaska, which is great because, once again, Alaska is such a beautiful place, and it's a short season, of course. Um, Alaska season usually starts May, goes maybe through September, because then it gets too cold. But it's a gorgeous place to go to, and another way to really kind of experience things in a different way, too, because you can see the glaciers calving and different wildlife, too. But it's just so great, too. Salmon, etc. But just great to see that, too. And then something else, too, is with Scenic. I know that we have a lot of different chefs that work with different cruise lines, and they really elevated the dining experience so much. People are not aware of that, too. Years ago, cruise lines were a little bit behind that, but then they started partnering with different chefs, too, over the years, which is great, and the cuisine on board cruise ships is just phenomenal. One I've had a pleasure meeting and knowing for quite a while is Rudy Sonman. He is a culinary chef for Holland America, the Holland America line, and that's owned by the Carnival Corporation. But he's really fantastic. He's got his restaurants on different Carnival Corporation ships, including, of course, their newest Carnival Jubilee, and of course Holland America ships too. And I first met him when I got a chance to be on board Holland America for a pre-Sea Cruise Global Conference event too, which is great too. And as I tell people, his food is actually too beautiful to eat. The presentation is phenomenal. I love it so much. Of course, the cuisine is so good, but just you look at like, oh my God, this is just too pretty to eat, but you're hungry, so you have to eat it. But it's great too. He's got a Solimar on different cruise ships, including Carnival Cruise Line, Princess Cruises, of course, Holland America Line. And he's just a fantastic person, great story. I've met him several times. We keep in touch, but just a great, great, great person too. But something that just came out too is with Scenic, it's a luxury cruise line. What they did was they just launched a new culinary voyages with different acclaimed chefs, which is great. And they just are launching, they just mentioned this actually in March this year. They're launching new culinary focused voyages, partnering with different world-renowned chefs. And this new set of Tastes of Discovery series offers a curated selection of interactive cooking demonstrations. They've got intimate meet and greet with these renowned chefs, which is great. Also different experiences, highlighting local ingredients and traditions too, which is great. And what's good too is these chefs actually infuse their own unique cultural flair into their program. And they mention some of the chefs too. They've got Dale McKay. They've got Gabri Rodriguez. And they're well known for their achievements when it comes to culinary arts too. They have special events on board that include a welcome cocktail party, cooking challenges, and immersive pop-up restaurants, all crafted to provide an immersive and memorable culinary experience too, which is great too. And they've mentioned other things too. Like with Chef Dale, he's had the pleasure of working with masters like Gordon Ramsay, of course, and Daniel Bouland. And then he's known for his victory as the top chef in Mexico. Chef Gabri, he's really an inspiration too. And then they're doing is this Taste of Discovery services series is actually available on different following itineraries, with many more to come too. One is 11-day Taste of Discovery, uncovering the Kimberly coastline, voyage which the Scenic Eclipse 2 will be on May 20th, actually, this year. So next week. And this actually is an adventure with the rugged beauty of the Kimberly meets the art of fine dining. And the voyage really invites guests to explore Australia's new great wilderness too. They've also got a 12-day Taste of Discovery, Rhythms of the Brazilian Coastline of the Scenic Eclipse, which departs on November 16th of 2024. And they've also got, with this one, guests can enjoy the different flavors and rhythms of the Brazilian coast too. It begins in Rio de Janeiro, and then the cruise sails down the coast of Brazil and Uruguay, showcasing the natural beauty and tropical bliss of the untouched beaches too, which is great. And I know that they've got, let's see here, during this Taste of Discovery series, the Chef Mexico finalist, Gabby Rodriguez, will treat guests to a harmony of traditional flavors with contemporary techniques, resulting in elevated dishes that are as accompanying as they are cutting edge. And this journey is going to actually be continuing to the rainforests of the Isla Grande before ending in Buenos Aires. And then the world's first Discovery yachts. This is, of course, the Scenic Eclipse and Scenic Eclipse 2. They really take guests from the polar to tropical destinations with their state-of-the-art design and technology. And each yacht is really equipped with different inbuilt submarines, custom-built submarines too, and helicopters, and the highest ice class ratio of passenger ships. And amenities include spacious suites and multiple dining options too. So definitely keep that in mind too, because with Scenic, fantastic company, and like I said, their newest have been the Scenic Eclipse or Scenic Eclipse 2, but just another way to really kind of embed yourself with just, the luxury, but also with fine dining and combined with working with top culinary chefs for that amazing dining experience. It's just really, really phenomenal, and I just think that's so exciting because once again, cruising has come back so much better, and just fun things to do more cruise ships, of course, with different neighborhoods. Of course, Royal Caribbean's got different neighborhoods, of course, too. And also, you've got some cruise ships that are more luxury, of course, too, and premium, different classes. Kind of confusing, but another one to consider definitely, too, would be, of course, with the river cruises in Europe. That's been expanding like crazy in a very, very good way. But with the European cruises too, the river cruises, they're wonderful. I know that they've got some special things coming up with AMA Waterways. I know they've got special wine tasting cruises coming up. I'll share more with that maybe in the next episode. But also, it's a great way to really, really explore the rivers of Europe, which is great too. And something else that is good to keep in mind too is I talked about this last week, but when it comes to the Olympics, which is coming up in this summer in Paris, some river cruise lines are completely avoiding that area right now. Okay, it's going to be too congested, and they make sure that their guests can really explore a really wonderful experience. Some cruise lines are doing a lot of cruise lines right now, as mentioned last week, are kind of avoiding the Paris area right now for river cruisings when the Olympics are taking place, because once again, it's going to be so busy there anyway. I mean, if you want to go to the Olympics, you can, but the point is, many river cruise lines are avoiding the Paris area just because they don't want to get bombarded with other people coming to the Olympic Games too. They're being very cautious about it too, and like I said, they will resurface in that area too once the Olympic Games are over. But they'll do some phenomenal things too, which is great. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, we've got new ships coming out. We've got more orders coming out for next year, the year after too, which is great too. And it's just great to kind of think about these things too. As mentioned, one is Ritz-Carlton. They were not only Ritz-Carlton for a while, but they've got their second yacht class ship coming out. It's called the Ilma, and then they're doing some different things too. As mentioned, I mentioned Utopia Seas. That's a 6th Oasis class ship, and she's going to be debuting 3 and 4 night cruises, and she will be sailing out of Port Canaveral, which is great. And she's got 5 pools, poolside food truck. Yes, poolside food truck. Of course, the food truck isn't really driving on the ocean, which is good. And she's got new Zoom booster rollers, transparent racing windows too. And then as far as dining, there's a new locomotive journey immersive experience too. They've got Giovanni's Italian Kitchen and Wine Bar, which spans 2 levels. It has a cantilevered alfresco terrace, and then the Arizumi in the park really provides a takeaway experience of Central Park area too. So that's kind of fun, and that's when it's going to be sailing out this July from, I believe, Port Canaveral I mentioned too, which is great. And then we've got, of course, I mentioned this before, but Disney Treasures coming out too, which is great. That's going to be having this special haunted mansion parlor, a bar, and then they've got their 1,274 seat with Disney Theater, which will actually have a new Broadway style production. It's going to be called The Tale of Moana, and of course their Plaza de Coco, a new family themed Mexican restaurant, is based on the Pixar film Coco, which is great too. And as mentioned, of course, with The Brilliant Lady coming out next year, after she's delayed a couple years, it's their fourth of their Ladyship series, and she is 110,000 gross registered tons. And the other ships that are in the Virgin Voyages ships include, of course, the Resilient Lady, the Valiant Lady, and the Scarlet Lady. And as mentioned, the Brilliant Lady was delayed, but now she's coming out, of course, too, which is great too. And it's good to kind of think about that too, because once again, you've got such great things going on in the cruise industry. And another coming out too is going to be with Explorer Journeys. That is a luxury cruise line owned by the MSC Group, which has MSC Cruises. They've got their MSC Foundation, plus the family, which originally started in the industry with shipping. And the Explorer 2, which is their second ship, is coming out this summer. She's a sister ship to the Explorer 1. And as far as the size, once again, these are very luxury. She is going to be 63,900 gross registered tons. She will have, I know they've got 3 outdoor pools. They got a 4th with a retractable glass roof. 64 cabanas, 9 different restaurants. They've got also indoor-outdoor spa, wellness facilities too. It sounds fantastic. I've written about it. It sounds great too. And then with Silver Sea Cruises, the Silver Nova, which came out in 2023, her sister ship, the Silver Ray, is going to be coming out too. And she is going to be using LNG and also battery power at sea. And really fantastic. Plus, what they're doing too is they've got they're doing their Marquis Alfresco dining venue and the Ocean View Salt Lab chef's table on the high deck too. So keep that in mind too, because dining options, there's so many to pick and choose from. Where's a place to go to, dine, etc. But once again, there's so many options out there. Just definitely keep in mind, because once again, it's just a fun way to really experience the different areas of the world. And I really enjoy sailing on the ocean with the river cruise lines over in Europe and also different areas too, including some that are launching course in South America. It's a great way to really, really kind of experience it. And then, of course, then the ship is actually your floating hotel, so to speak. But it's a great way to really experience beautiful areas. And once again, they don't have to worry about hopping to different hotels every night, unpacking, repacking, unpacking, repacking. It's great. Plus, you've got different diverse dining options out there too, entertainment. When you go to different ports, different options as far as your shore excursions. Also with the cruise lines, of course, they have, of course, their own private islands too. I mentioned that in the past. We've got new ones coming out too. I'll be sharing about that more in a future episode too. Mark, any questions for me or not? I've covered quite a bit today too, but once again, it's so good to see different things coming out in the cruise industry too.
Not lots going on in the cruise industry. You were definitely talking about a lot of it. That was really good, and glad to hear those conversations and all along those lines. But definitely, I was just thinking about those Mother's Day cruises because I know that they're going on as well. So there's some of those that are taking place today. So if you want to talk about those, since Mother's Day will be on Sunday and everything. So
Yes.
definitely might want to share those, and then we'll end with the Virgin Voyage commercial that you wanted.
Right. Yes. Okay. With Mother's Day, of course, remember that you can't book last minute, okay? With cruise lines, they traditionally depart. If you're doing a 7-night cruise, usually they will depart either Saturday or Sunday, okay? And then with the shorter cruises, they usually depart with the 4-day cruises. They usually depart usually on a Monday maybe and go till till Friday, and the weekend cruises go from Friday to Monday. And you have to book farther out, of course, too, but they do special events for Mother's Day, of course, on different cruise ships, too. So keep it in mind for next year, too. It's a great way to kind of celebrate, too. When I was flying back from that first conference, or the second conference I was going to, a couple sat next to me, and they had their son, and they just come back off a 4-night cruise with their family. There were 10 family members that came with them, and their son, Finn, was only 8 months old. So I think I probably sat down from probably the world's youngest cruiser, maybe on that ship, of course, but also on that flight too. But he was so great, so engaging. Just he had such a great time. I talked to his parents. They had such a great time too, and they weren't sure what to expect too. But it was great because once again they loved it, had a great experience, and once again goes back to really with the cruise ships, they can accommodate different types of guests too. They sail on Royal Caribbean. They've got children's programs for young children too, but just different things too, plus entertainment areas so much too. They got different areas, and it's just great to kind of experience that too. Yet you've got other cruise lines that are more for adults, but then you've got ones that will combine family with, and people too. It's just great to see that too, because once again, even like Explorer Journeys, okay, they do have connecting staterooms. It's luxury, of course, too. But once again, it goes back to with Explorer Journeys being owned by the parent, which is family. But once again, they do have options for people that may want to sail with their families on board their ships. Explorer 1 came out last year. Explorer 2 is coming out this year. High and luxury. Their motto is bringing the ocean life to sea, which is great. But once again, just a great way to kind of experience different things. And once again, it'd be good to think about that maybe for next year. Or also for Father's Day, of course, too. That's a great celebration to do, too. But once again, keep that in mind, too, because it's just another way to kind of capture things with memories with your family of a lifetime, too. So definitely keep that in mind because they have different events depending on the cruise line, too. I actually had a chance to actually do a cruise that was over Thanksgiving. The dinner was phenomenal. We sail out the day before Thanksgiving, of course, on Wednesday, and then we had Thanksgiving dinner aboard the ship that Thursday. It was phenomenal, just great, and I'd never done that before, but it kind of came up accidentally, but it was just great too. So definitely keep that in mind for your thinking about taking a future cruise. But once again, think far in advance when you want to do maybe a special sailing, because cruise ships do book out, and because they've been so busy too. We've got new ships coming out too, but keep in mind too for future things too. Okay, and yes, we can go into the special Virgin Voyages right now.
Mama, Papa, was your suitcase packed but not mine? How could you leave us kids behind? Parents are going on a cruise without us kids, and we know whose fault this is. Virgin Voyages says we can't cruise till we're 18, which makes us shake like we had caffeine. Virgin Voyages says no kids on the ocean, so we're causing a commotion. You'll be sipping cocktails under a starlit night while we're back home without an invite. Sure, you've earned a gourmet spread, but we're experiencing existential dread.
Adults, enjoy the cruise. We know you deserve it, but the fact we can't go is total bull.